Welcome, it's time for business, and thanks for tuning in to catch up with the trending business stories within and beyond our borders. And straight to the highlights, Uganda Revenue Authority short of its revenue target for the just concluded financial year. The tourism sector players want local tourism ban reviewed. Bankers leverage on technology to boost service delivery. And on the regional scene, bulk petroleum imports is revived on the Luzira, Port Bell, Mwanza route. It's rich content, so don't touch the dial. I'm your host, Denis Sigoa. And on to the first story, Uganda Revenue Authority recorded a deficit of 2.3 trillion shillings in its 2020-2021 revenue performance. The significant shortfall is attributed to the adverse effect of the COVID-19 pandemic to the economy. On the other hand, URA posted a revenue growth of 15% in comparison to the 2019-2020 fiscal year.
Uganda Revenue Authority collected a net revenue of 19.2 trillion shillings in the last financial year and posted a revenue growth of 15% in comparison to 2019-2020 fiscal year. The revenue growth is attributed to, among others, debt recovery, implementation of the digital tracking system and the electronic fiscal receipting solution.
The revenue was generated from the top 4 sectors. These are wholesale and retail trade, which had the biggest contribution, that amounted to 5.783 trillion, approximately 29.4%. The manufacturing sector followed with a contribution of 4.46 trillion, approximately 22.7%. The information and communication sector contributed 2.059 trillion, which is approximately 10.5%, while 1.64 trillion, approximately 9.4%, was generated from the financial and insurance service sector.
However, URA was off target by about 2.3 trillion shillings.
That this target was set and approved by Parliament before the impact of COVID-19. Therefore, the macroeconomic variables that affect revenue collection, such as the GDP growth, were projected at 6%, yet at the end of the financial year, the GDP growth was only 3% after the COVID-19 disruption.
The revenue deficit is mainly attributed to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic early last year. Pay-as-you-earn was one of the tax heads that had a major shortfall of about 315 billion. Corporate tax collections were also below target by 240 billion shillings.
Particularly revenue from accommodation and food services activities declined by 37.38%. The education sector by 10.35%, art, entertainment and recreation by 31.39%.
Cross-border traders, their contribution was 15.495 billion. Like I said at the beginning, you can see they contribute more on our export bill in exporting most of the manufactured goods in Uganda to our neighboring countries. But in terms of import duty and contribution to revenue, it was a percentage of 0.21%.
Meanwhile, the Revenue Body has launched its 30 years anniversary celebrations with unveiling 2 mobile bus offices and URA online television studios to support clients with education, registration, payments and other compliance services.
Oh, congratulations.
These new initiatives are geared at enabling the Revenue Body to achieve its agenda of leveraging on technology to deliver Uganda's economic independence. Abdul Nasir Lubwama, UBC News.
Tourism sector players are appealing to government to review the ban of local tourism. According to Hanji Bashir, the Public Relations Officer, Uganda Wildlife Authority, Local tourism is crucial for the revival of the stressed industry. Although government allowed the sector to operate during the current lockdown, Hanji says the number of foreign tourists is disturbingly low. The tourism sector has been hit hard for the second consecutive year. The surge of coronavirus infections in the country, which provoked a total lockdown, has led to trip cancellations and significant loss of revenue.
Between April and June last year, we got around 1,010 tourists in all protected areas.
That is last year?
Yeah, between April and June. And if you compare June alone, rather between April and June we had around 1,040. June alone we had around 1,010, which means between April and June you had around 40, 30, and then the other all came in June. Now, this year we've got around 12,000 visitors in the month of June who have visited the protected areas. This is a huge difference, you know. And if you look at the quota, for instance, between April and June, we've got around 38,000 visitors.
However, the current lockdown has not been as intense as the first one, in that the tourism sector has been allowed to operate. Nonetheless, the stringent guidelines and the domestic tourism ban have kept the huge numbers of potential local and foreign visitors away from the protected areas.
It is clear that it has largely affected local tourists because the conditions that have been set to follow, someone using a tourism registered vehicle, having a negative PCR tests, and all these other requirements are not easy for locals really. Most of them have sat home and have complained that we have left them out.
UWA annually expects about 330,000 visitors to its protected areas.
It is through this tourism revenue that we are able to do conservation work. It is through this revenue that we are able to do animal translocation, monitoring, treatment, food rations for our rangers, uniform, salaries, mention it. So without all that, definitely the institution as UWA will remain so incapacitated.
Whereas these numbers are encouraging compared to last year, it's like a drop in the ocean, says Bashir Hanji, the public relations officer at the Uganda Wildlife Authority. Most of the tourists that are keeping the sector afloat are mainly foreign nationals residing in Uganda and East Africans. As the country continues to vaccinate its population, UWA is making an appeal to the COVID-19 task force on the revival of domestic tourism.
People want to go and meditate with nature. They want to go out, you know, and get out from the hustles and the bustles of the city. But they need to be supported by the National Task Force so that they are allowed, especially those ones who have the capacity. Because if, for instance, people can observe social distance in a vehicle, let's say a vehicle five-seater, and you are 3, and you are all negative, you are all fully vaccinated, I mean, you should be allowed to go and do tourism activities.
Uganda had set a 2020 target of attracting more than 2 million visitors to the country after achieving a milestone 1.6 million visitors in 2019. But the outbreak of the pandemic might have hampered the ambitious goal. Denis Sigoa for UBC News. Uganda Bankers Association is urging its members to embrace technology as the best alternative in encountering the varying financial challenges in this fourth industrial revolution. Of course, almost everything now is relying on ICTs. Nasir Rubwama reports.
The last 2 years have been tough for Uganda's financial sector, and unfortunately, the situation is not getting better due to the surge of coronavirus that have led to the economic slowdown.
And as you know, activity has reduced, and our customers are in pain, especially borrowed customers who've taken facilities. So obviously, we are not in a good position. What we have tried to do with the assistance of the central bank is to delay the pain in the hope that in the process the economy opens up, picks up and starts recovering.
However, the sector players are optimistic of a solid recovery in the near future.
Conversation is going on with the central bank and the Ministry of Finance. We are optimistic that what the things we have proposed will get your attention so that it cushions the numerous borrowers as well as the financial sector itself.
Despite the numerous setbacks, Uganda Bankers Association will go ahead with its annual conference. The virtual meeting slated for the 26th and 27th of this month under the theme Bend but not break intends to provide insights through which the sector can thrive in the era of the fourth industrial revolution, which warrants reasonable technological uptake.
And the financial sector is not the only one that has been impacted. So we thought that it's a good time to have this conversation. Most importantly, how we can leverage technology to continue reaching more people, to deliver not just financial services, but the whole web of all the sectors that support the economy.
Fraud and financial cybersecurity risks are among the major challenges by the financial institutions in Uganda. This calls for the collective analysis on data processing and storage capacity. Abdul Nasir Lubwama, UBC News.
The ever-rising electricity demand for domestic and industrial use in Entebbe municipality has prompted the upgrading of the network. Umeme Utility Company has partnered with the National Water and Sewerage Corporation to set up a 20 MVA power substation in the municipality. The facility, valued at 7 billion shillings, is expected to be operational by the end of the year. Entebbe municipality is one of the fastest growing urban areas in the country, but its steady social and economic growth is impeded by the challenge of unstable electricity supply.
You had erratic power supply. We have recently upgraded our systems. We have big pumps, big equipment here that require a lot of power. So this substation has come at the right time. We desired this. We spread water from Chigungu up to Rweza. That is a very big stretch. These are all potential people, and most important, very key people.
To address the challenge, Umeme, a utility company, has signed a memorandum of understanding with the National Water and Sewerage Corporation, which allows it to construct an electricity substation on its land near the lakeshore.
We are glad that now we are beginning to celebrate the power of synergies, because the land that we are putting this substation has been given to us by National Water and Sewerage Corporation. We've not paid, so we've signed an MOU with them. This is going to bring a lot of relief. We had gone in circles for 2 years trying to look for a suitable place to install a substation, and we had challenges, of course, with some communities, but we're glad that we can both ride on the strength of each other.
The indoor substation, to be constructed by Giza Systems, an Egyptian firm, will cost about 7 billion shillings, and it's expected to be completed by the end of this year.
The coming of this substation still will address the issue of reliability and availability of power in Entebbe, because everybody knows Entebbe is a very sensitive area, where we have the airport, where we have the State House, and all other critical installations.
As long as we are assured that the environmental and socio-economic aspects are worked on, and the project has got nothing to do with destruction of the environment, as the process is, we are very happy for this project.
The indoor substation, to be constructed by Giza Systems, an Egyptian firm, will cost about 7 billion shillings, and it's expected to be completed by the end of this year. The 20 MVA substation will guarantee stable power supply and help boost the quality of life in the municipality. In our corporate news, Absa Bank and MTN Uganda have rolled out MTN mobile money payments at all the bank's point-of-sales terminals. The move is envisaged to further deepen and broaden financial technology services across the country.
This partnership, what it typically entails, it changes the payment landscape. It eliminates the need to use cash as MTN mobile money subscribers transact in their day-to-day activities, be it payments through restaurants, supermarkets, pharmacies, and the like. What this now means is that you eliminate that process. So what the introduction of this product has done, or this functionality, is that it eliminates the need for use of cash. And what it does do as well, it enhances our digital penetration, or our digital offering As part of our strategy, as you know, is to become a digital bank. So with this offering of MTN Momo Pay, typically a customer will walk into any establishment where there is a point of sale device, and just using their mobile money account and our point of sale device, they can be able to transact. So what it does, it increases the reach in terms of the payment options and functionalities that consumers can enjoy.
That is what fintech is about. It's about removing the pain from the way in which people interact in their normal day-to-day lives. So for instance, as I've just described, in the past, you would need to have either a card. It could be Visa, MasterCard, or Diners Club, and you would use the point of sale to pay. Then, on the other hand, you'd probably need to have a phone, and you have Momo Pay, and you need to pay. So it was like two distinct worlds. So sometimes you have money in either ecosystem. You either have money on the card, or you have money on the phone. So what this does is it allows you to make the choice. It allows you to make the choice as a customer when you need it, where you need it, and you're then able to pay.
In another development, Prudential Assurance Uganda has acquired over 50,000 insurance accounts from the International Air Ambulance. The acquisition raises significantly Prudential Assurance's clientele.
We are happy to share that globally, Prudential serves 15 million customers, and this success, which began in 1848, is down to our focus on meeting the needs of our customers in all times. Prudential's growth in Uganda is hinged on customer centricity, innovation, and our track record of always honoring every single valid claim.
What has not changed, however, is the cost of medical care and access to quality medical facilities. Ensuring that we have good health is very important because an unhealthy workforce or population means there's no productivity, and no productivity translates to negative economic consequences, not only to families, but to the nation at large.
To our new policyholders, as a result of this transfer, the one that we are celebrating today, we would like to reassure you that we are a trusted partner, and we pledge to continue serving you with even better standards and quality enjoyed by over 20 million customers across the world.
On the regional scene, Uganda Railways Corporation has started utilizing the multimodal transport system on the Central Corridor for importation of petroleum products. Starbucks International, an oil marketing company, has in the recent days imported about 1 million litres of diesel through the port of Luzira from Tanzania's port of Mwanza. For over 15 years, the port of Luzira in Kampala had never received any consignment of petroleum products from the port of Mwanza, which is connected by rail to Tanzania's commercial capital of Dar es Salaam.
When we use this transportation, our roads are saved. I was told there are some roads, even before the 10 years, the road is spoiled due to the heavy cargo we are transporting on those roads. For example, we know Uganda needs a lot of fuel, and it is always imported. You can imagine, so far the tanks you have seen here, this is only Starbucks, and only this is them to sample whether this service is effective, and I'm happy that they have appreciated. Now, if we have all companies of fuel using the road, one, we shall have congestion, two, accidents will increase, and our roads will get spoiled.
This new development is seen as a major milestone in the enhancement of marine transport through the Central Corridor and promotion of the alternative regional transport route to the business community.
This route, for your information, has been rehabilitated. The meter gauge, 80% has been rehabilitated from Dar es Salaam to Mwanza. That means the transit time has reduced from 4 days to 2 to 3 days. So it's an opportunity that railway can grasp and utilize. So we as a railway, we are in this transport business to make money as well. So we will partner with Starbucks and other customers to move their cargo at a cheaper rate on the route.
So much investment has gone into the Central Corridor. So this is really a very welcome development for the Ugandan shippers. We're going to see increased trade, it's very clear, lowering of cost, and that lowering of costs means businesses can be more competitive. So let's put all our efforts together, private sector, support the governments what they're doing. This is a clear testimony that with the right investments, you can achieve a lot of trade within the region as well as globally.
Starbucks International, a local oil marketing company, has taken the lead by importing 1 million litres of diesel via the multimodal transport system. Venturing on the route is inspired by the need for efficiency, cheaper cost and shorter transit time.
You know, Kisumu and Mwanza look like co-wives because they're all fighting for the same business for Kampala. But we as at the center of business and at the center of bulk fuel, we trade with both sides. And this Central Corridor looks to be more interesting and we're more interested in it. And today has marked the beginning of this venture and we promise that we're going to continue importing through the Mwanza Port Bell route.
With increased business, more investment is required, especially in the purchase or rehabilitation of vessels. Currently, the bulk cargo transit time from the port of Dar es Salaam to Luzira port is averaging at 4 days. Since the resumption of the Mwanza Port Bell operations in January 2018, over 120,000 tons of cargo has been moved through the route. These are estimated to be over 5,000 trucks plying the route. The most common cargo are grain by the World Food Programme, roofing sheets, drip water, spices and beauty products. Denis Sigoa for UBC Business.
Technology is changing a lot and it's changing the way we live and the way we think. For example, this pandemic has also changed lots of things. I can take it as a world war because world wars used to change how we think and everything. It's the same thing now. So when you look at things like Forex, these are some of the things which are going to change in the future. For example, we are having ATMs that do Forex. Before you know it, we'll have mobile money also coming into that kind of picture. So like I said earlier, we as developers and we as Ugandans and Africans, we need to look at how we are living, which problems are we having and how are we solving them.
As we sign out this episode tonight, I leave you with some words of wisdom. For many of us, our proudest achievements come in the face of the greatest adversity. Our pain often makes us stronger, more resilient and more grounded. So take heart in whatever situation that you're currently in, because nothing lasts forever. That's all we had in BRU this week, and we are glad that you have been part of the show. Catch up next weekend, same time and same place. Cheers. I've been your host, Denis Sigoa.
Uganda First.
Patriotism program in secondary schools was launched in 2009 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and he was focusing on secondary schools to make sure that we develop a generation among the youth that is patriotic and is ready to serve and to sacrifice for their country.
Good enough, the president had a policy document. He went around, he met teachers. So when he appointed me to be in charge of the secretariat, the work was clear. Ensure you bring the teachers on board because they are the ones who ordinarily most of the time are with the young people.
As a patriot, I joined the Patriotic Club in 2018 when I had just joined the Mighty College, Trinity College, Nabingo. And each of us that joined that year, we had to undergo that exercise. I learned a lot of things because I was also given the responsibility to lead the parade by then. As young as I was, we were with Form 1s and Form 5s, but I made an effort to take it through.
There are some core values that we cherish as a country. Okay. The core values, hard work, the core values of time management. Do you respect the environment?
Integrity.
Are you united as a community, or you are promoting those divisions that we don't encourage?
One of the values of patriotism is love, sacrifice, obedience, and very many